What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I'm your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all off to a great start to a wonderful weekend of football. Today was not so enjoyable for me, but just got done watching the first half here, almost over. Alabama, Texas A&M. Looks like we have an upset in the works, so enjoying a little bit of football, but we all know in the back of my mind what really matters: our birds. So let's get pumped up. Let's get ready. Tomorrow is game day, ladies and gentlemen. And we all know, 1-3, it's been a rough start to the season, right? And a lot of people really upset about this team, really wanted to see more, wanted to be undefeated at this point. And look, I want to be undefeated every season, every game. I hate losing. But the fact of the matter is, we knew this team would have growing pains, bumpy roads. We've talked about all off season, all beginning of this season. So let's just try to have some fun, like we talked about, right? Let's get excited for the fact of the matter that these guys have a lot of promise. There is a young team in front of us that could grow into something special. So let's get behind them, try to enjoy what they have in front of them. And look, I know it's going to be a lot of mistakes and we're going to get pissed off. And the thing for me is I don't want to see all the penalties and I don't want to see Sirianni not putting them in the right position. So I understand. And look, even with Sirianni and Gannon, I understand they're new coaches too. So I'm trying to temper my expectations for everyone and try to give them, the benefit of the doubt that they are still all very new to their jobs, positions, whatever it may be. So even on the defense, Fletcher Cox moving to a different position, playing that defensive end in a 3-4 more than he is a defensive tackle in the 4-man front. So we'll see how this game goes, but there's definitely a lot to watch out for. But before we get into it, we'll talk about some of the injuries because obviously that is important and that will kind of lead into what we're talking about here. But Cam Irving and Shaq Thompson both out for the Panthers. That's big. They're left tackle, but a lot of people excited for the rookie Brady Christensen. So we'll see how he does. But Shaq Thompson, their leading tackler on defense, I think that's a huge blow. We all know that. So unfortunate for them, but still a very damn good defense. Christian McCaffrey is doubtful. He is probably not going to play. So that's great news for the Eagles. Obviously, terrible news for the Panthers. Hopefully, he gets healthy. Never want to see anybody hurt. But obviously, that is going to help the Eagles immensely because he is their offense. So without him, that's obviously Chuba Hubbard. A lot of other guys are going to get roles. We're going to talk about that here in a second. But then for the Eagles, Lane Johnson still dealing with a personal matter. Hopefully everything is all right with his family, whatever's going on there. None of my business, but I do know that I wish him the best. Now we're going to find out what this line looks like. We've got Dillard. We've got Mailata. We'll see if they're starting. Maybe Driscoll starts at right tackle again. But Derek Gunn dropped the nugget last night that he has heard that Dillard will be at left tackle. Mailata going over to right tackle while Lane is out. So we'll see how that ends up. But regardless, let's get into this top 10 matchup between the Philadelphia Eagles at the Carolina Panthers tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Oh, I just want to get a win. I'll be real with you guys. I am craving a win badly. As much as we talk about tempering our expectations, I want to win. So let's talk about the top matchups here, how the Eagles can pull off a victory, and then we'll go into the score prediction. You guys have anything you want to throw in there? Whether you agree with these matchups, you have another one you want to throw in there, please feel free to do so. You're watching this later, you want to comment. Always down to talk some birds, always down to talk about whatever it is on your guys' mind. So appreciate all of you out there, but let's get this started. First and foremost, number one, and this is really no particular order other than just going from Eagles offense and then to the Carolina offense. So flip-flopping. But number one, obviously the most important for us, Jalen Hurts going up against this Panthers defense. Obviously a much tougher defense than any that he has faced, and probably, as we've talked about all week, the toughest defense that he will face. I'll be real with you. The Niners are a good defense, but they were missing some key players. And the Panthers will be without Shaq Thompson, but they still have a very, very good defense. We know from the defensive line to the linebackers to the secondary, they've got some studs. We know that they added Stephon Gilmore. We won't have to face him. He won't be able to play for them till week 7. But they still, and they lost J.C. Horn. But you talk about Dante Jackson. You talk about C.J. Henderson they just traded for. I think that this is still a pretty damn good defense. We talked about their stats here. I think I still have that one graphic from yesterday. Their defense, the ranks are, and look, you take numbers with a grain of salt, but 10th against the rush last week, they were, I want to say it was 46 yards per game. Don't quote me on that, but they were giving that up before they faced the Cowboys. And then Zeke ran for like over 200. So yeah, that jumped them up a little bit, 10th in the league, but they're still pretty damn good. Second against the pass, third in total yardage, and third in points. But let me be real with you guys. I was looking at things earlier, and I'm like, wait a minute, because we talk about how take all the numbers with a grain of salt. Take everything that everybody says with a grain of salt. Really try to break it down, see why these things are happening, what's going on. Okay. So what I saw was the fact that the Panthers faced the Jets in week 1. Okay. Zach Wilson and that whole slew of different players that were either added or back or young or whatever it's going on there. Not the greatest of teams. Then week 2, you have Jameis Winston, the Saints, and they kind of fell off after that week 1 performance where he had, 5 touchdowns. He did have some very few yards, but like 5 touchdowns. Good for them, but regardless, not a great team. The defense has been struggling, getting older. Regardless, don't care. Not a great team. And then they played Davis Mills and the Houston Texans. Come on. Another pretty easy matchup. And then when they had to face a tough opponent like the Dallas Cowboys with an offense like we know how good it is, they kind of got spanked. And I don't think they had a single sack, tackle for a loss. And that's huge because you saw. Now, let's hold on. I have some more numbers here. 3.5 sacks per game. They're still second in the league, even though they didn't do anything in that game. That's pretty damn wild. So, that this is a force to be reckoned with. So the number 1 matchup, I just feel that this is clearly going to be Jalen Hurts' toughest matchup. So he's been improving each week, and we talked about that. Let's just keep our eyes on that throughout this year. Not necessarily wins and losses. Yes, I want to win, but we know with these bumpy roads, we just need to watch his development. Is he the quarterback of the future? Guys, we could possibly have 3 first-round picks next year. We have 2, so that's a guaranteed. And if it isn't, then it's 2 second-rounders. It's like, oh, that's pretty good. Yes. So let's keep building this bad boy the right way and head the right way with these young receivers. All these other guys, my man Mike in the building. What's going on, dude? Hopefully you're having a great weekend so far. Hopefully we end it right with a victory tomorrow. Oh, just getting pumped up doing these top 10 matchups. Let me know your thoughts, how you're feeling about it. But went with Hurts and the Panthers D, clearly his toughest test. But I think that Jalen Hurts will truly keep shining. And I don't know. There's still some people that are naysayers, haters, whatever they want to do or say. That's fine with me. I'm watching and seeing great things, and he keeps improving. And I know he's missed some wide open throws. I know he's made some bad reads. But guess what? That was 8 games he's played so far. And the offensive line is a different effing offensive line all the time. So don't care. Don't want to hear it. Let's go Birds. I'm excited for Jalen Hurts. But let's get on to it. Number 2 up to bat. This is a huge one. We just talked about the fact that Lane Johnson will be out. Now, if it is Mailata and Dillard at each tackle position, that'll be intriguing. We know that we would rather have Mailata at right tackle than Dillard. Your options are Driscoll or Toth maybe at right tackle. And I'm not saying that they are going to be the starters, but that is the word on the street from Derek Gunn. But take everything with a grain of salt. I have no idea what it will be, but that would be intriguing. Regardless, whoever it is, they've got Brian Burns and Hassan Reddick, son of a... We talked about Hassan Reddick when he was a free agent. Well, went to the Panthers, but the kid's got talent. Not necessarily a middle linebacker that you wanted, but he would work perfect right now in Jonathan Gannon's defense. Is that stand-up rusher, outside linebacker type deal. We talked about what Phil Snow is doing with this Carolina Panthers defense. They are blitzing like a mofo. I think they're like the 3rd highest rated team. They're coming at you, but they play a lot of zone. But these guys, they don't need to really blitz because they get pressure without it, but they do anyway. They will come at your ass, and they get their pressure. And little concerning on the edges there. Brian Burns, I think he has 11 pressures and 3 sacks so far this season. And then it was, I want to say 13 pressures for Reddick and 6 sacks. And he is tied for the league with Myles Garrett. So pretty damn good. And you can see that they use him as an edge rusher if he's tied for the league with sacks. So holy hell, Dillard at left tackle had a lot of penalties. Did not like that. His play, though, I'm liking the improvements I've seen. He definitely has some mistakes, but I like that. And then, like I said, I feel more comfortable with my Lotta at right tackle than I would at Dillard. We all saw how that happened. So take advantage of the secondary. We're going to talk about that here shortly. Not sure you can take advantage of it, but we're definitely going to have to try to do something there. But up next, we're definitely going to have to try to establish that run. I don't give a damn if you're doing it with Miles Sanders, Kenny Gainwell, whoever you got to do it with. And I know it's not just going to be handing the ball off. I know that we will be dumping the ball off out of the backfield. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. However, you got to get the ball into the running back's hands. But I still would like some run plays. RPO, that's great. Fantastic. But I also think you could just call a run play where you just hand it off, simply hand it off. And if Hurts has to change it at the line, whatever, it is what it is. But run the ball, please, for the love of God. Now, we talked about Shaq Thompson, their leading tackler, being out. This is going to be a huge role for Jermaine Carter. He's been doing well, one of the underrated players in the NFL. But I think he will step in this week, and we'll see how well he can do as the leader in the middle there. But clearly you have guys like Chin. We talk about people that move around. Sure, he will play a little bit more of a linebacker role now that Shaq Thompson is out. But we'll see how they roll going against the Eagles. But Jermaine Carter going to have a big role here trying to stop these guys. And I think, they're one of the better run defenses. We talked about that. They were only allowing, I believe it was 46 yards per game before that Dallas game, and Dallas had over 200 yards rushing. So now they're giving up like 95, which is 10th in the league, I believe the graphic said. So they're damn good. But you still have to try to establish that. And then you can do all your fun stuff, your play action and RPO and all that great stuff because you're not one-dimensional. So please, for the love of God, run the ball. So there is your key matchup 3. Now, getting on, Mike here mentioned these wide receivers going up against this secondary. We talked about the fact that they got C.J. Henderson in that trade with the Jaguars, got rid of Dan Arnold, and then you saw A.J. Bouye finally get a chance to play last week after serving his 3-game suspension. So they've got Dante Jackson, who is a very underrated corner in this game, and it's crazy to me that they added Gilmore now too. So I wouldn't be surprised see what happens with Jackson, trade him, whatever. But man, week 7, you've got a stud coming in Gilmore. You've got Jackson, you've got Bouye, and C.J. Henderson. He's got some promise, a first-round pick just a year ago, whatever. So I think that, that's a very scary group, especially when J.C. Horn and Stephon Gilmore come back. Holy hell, Bouye will be out of a job. But Henderson, Jackson, I could see Jackson going somewhere else. Because, man, it's going to be hard to all be on the field and say, holy hell. Regardless, that's pretty good. But our young receivers, I love these guys. And I think there is a lot of hope there. I think that as the weeks go by, they're going to get better and better. Devonta Smith, we talked about, didn't show up on the stats. So people only look at stats. They're going to lose their mind. And it's like, dude, this kid's open most of the time. He is phenomenal at route running. This is why we talked about him before the draft. This is why I wanted him. He, Reagor, Watkins, that is quite a trio. Let them keep growing with Hurts, and I think this offense is going to be scary as hell. Get the ball out of the backfield to Gainwell and Sanders like we talked about a little earlier, and I think that this offense can attack this Panthers defense. They're missing Shaq Thompson. That's huge, so let's go. Get these guys over the middle if you have to. Whatever you got to do, man, the mesh concepts. However, you got to get the ball into their hands. Let's go. Let's go. Stephon going to be in this week? No, he will not. He is on the PUP list. So that means he is out for 6 weeks. So he cannot play until week 7. If he were on the IR, they changed the rule. I think I got a little twisted when I think Tim had asked me the other day, but it's IR. And you guys know I'm always on that with this, but I think it just said it wrong the other day. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but IR 3 weeks this year because it's the COVID thing messed everything up, but PUP is still 6 weeks. So Gilmore will not be able to play till week 7. So get past him. And I was really looking forward to seeing when I first saw the schedule at the beginning of the year, J.C. Horn versus Devonta Smith, because if we were going offense, I wanted Devonta, you guys remember. And if we were going D, I wanted JC Horn. So you saw Horn go to the Panthers, and I was like, well, let's get that receiver. And I cannot believe we traded with the Cowboys. And we still have that first-round pick from the Dolphins. Love it. And they got Waddle. Dude, did we not? We talked about all of that happening, and it happened. That's crazy. Good job, Howie. But we'll see how it all plays out in the next couple years. Now let's keep it moving on to the final Eagles offensive matchup we got here. Let's use these tight ends, baby. We talk about, Carter being in the middle there at middle linebacker, but these guys at safety, pretty good. Sean Chandler slept on a lot, but Jeremy Chin, son of a bitch. I really wanted us to draft him. It is what it is. We've got Hurts now, so regardless, Jeremy Chin, pretty awesome. But let's try to see what these tight ends can do anyway, because, well, this is one of the best duos in the league, and you can't cover both of them. We'll see how these guys line up against them, what they can do to try to help slow down this offense. But I think this offense is going to surprise some people tomorrow. I see that the Eagles are getting written off pretty quickly here. They can't do anything, get this great defense. What do we talk about? The fact that the teams they played, the Jets, Saints, Texans, I don't care, man. Then you talk about the Cowboys when they played a real team, they got their ass kicked. Yeah, so did we. But guess what? The Cowboys are pretty good, and I hate saying that, but they are. And the Chiefs, well, they're pretty amazing. So everybody losing their mind, it's all over. Look, dude, we weren't going to the Super Bowl this year. Just take the reality check and let's go. Let's look toward the future. This team is building something, so let's get behind them and hope that they're finding things out about the future. Offensive line, we're all banged up, but we're getting to see some of these guys. Is Driscoll, Urbic, are these guys part of the future? Obviously, Landon Dickerson is. Obviously, we got to figure out all of these things. So it sucks to lose, and it's, this sucks, everything sucks, everybody sucks. But it's like, dude, if you break it down, look at things, and you find fault in where it belongs, it makes it easier for you to get excited for the future. And that's what I'm trying to get across right now, that I see a lot of bright things ahead. So I see some people changing their tune, and I enjoy that because it's been right in front of people. They just choose to push these wild narratives. I won't do it. So up next, now we're switching. Panthers offense, Eagles D. So Sam Darnold doing much better there in Carolina. I said that. That's what I call him. I don't know why. Regardless, Panthers, Eagles. We've got ourselves an offense here that is not the Chiefs, not the Cowboys. It's time to get this defense back on track. Talk about Jonathan Gannon, everybody on his ass. Look, it's got to be hard going against Cowboys, against the Chiefs, especially in your first 4 games there. That's 2 of your matchups. Wow. Let's just give the guy a little leeway here. Hope he's figuring things out and give him the whole year. If he sucks by the end of it, okay, I got you. But you got Sam Darnold. He's definitely improved, but they don't have Christian McCaffrey, and they have some good receivers, but this defense has no effing excuse. Ronnie McLeod's back. You got Anthony Harrison. He back at safety. Nelson and Slay, pretty good corners. Vontae Maddox probably going to have to come in, try to help out against those receivers. Let's go, baby. This D needs to get some damn pressure. Not the greatest of offensive lines, so get Sam Darnold rattled. Let him see some ghosts, and let's beat some ass. I really think that we're going to surprise some people, cause Darnold to maybe throw some interceptions. They are giving up like 2.8 sacks per game, I think it was, but they're giving up some sacks. We know that their left tackle is out. Let's get after them. This hybrid defense. It's interesting to try to talk about it because it's like, I like the idea of it. You're just not, the players we have are not the guys you want to use for certain defenses, certain roles that you're putting these guys in. It's like the idea is great, but if this guy can't cover this guy or can't play this role, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? And I understand you might like this defense and it's cuter and it might work better, but you're going to have to accentuate to the player skill sets that you guys have talked about all damn offseason. So let's please do that, and let's actually get this team rolling here on defense. So we'll find out, man. But I think that a 4-man front on third down, we've run a lot, right? So I think that actually has worked, and that's a role that Kerrigan can play. That's like the only role he can play is a 4-man front when we're in nickel, and rarely are we ever in 4-3. But in nickel, sometimes we have a 4-man front, but a lot of times you'll see a 3-2-4. You'll see, dude, it's been wild all over the place. It's been really interesting to see how he is used, because a lot of people thought Josh Sweat would go into the defensive end role, but it's like a defensive end is essentially, it's completely different because it's 3-4. So you got Fletcher Cox at a defensive end, and Brandon Graham was playing defensive end, but he's an anomaly, man. His size, he should be playing that outside linebacker, which Barnett and Sweat both are doing. So it's intriguing, but we'll get more into that here as we lead into the next one. So your number 6, we have number 7. We're moving on here, guys. Brady Christensen. Talk about the rookie filling in for Cam Irving out of BYU. This kid, he was somebody we talked about before the draft, and I think he's very talented left tackle. Maybe they move him around the line. Maybe he's not ready for tackle guard. He is a versatile guy, but regardless of where they use him, he is going to have an interesting matchup here. So we have to try to get after the young kid. And it's not necessarily just Sweat and Barnett there, because you also have Jannard Avery and Patrick Johnson lining up in that Sam linebacker role. Maybe they're blitzing. Maybe they're, and they're not even blitzing. That's just essentially, them attacking the quarterback. But I think they can also drop back in coverage at times. You see that the Panthers do that with Hassan Reddick, but obviously he's a lot more versatile and talented than the guys we have. I don't know why you don't sign someone like him. I would have loved to have him, but hey, he's just, leading the league in sacks. Regardless, we need to try to get after that young kid wherever they put him. Sweat, Barnett, send him after Darnold. Let him see some damn ghost. Up next, number 8. We are attacking the middle as well. They've got Daly, Paradis, and Miller. Center and guards. I think Cox, Hargrave, and Williams need to feast. Hargrave has continued to do that, but Cox, getting used to this new role he is playing. And then Milton Williams, the same, and he's a rookie, so he's got, a pretty decent excuse there, but thrown into the fire. And you guys remember the video I made. If you missed it, go check it out. It's about how will we replace Brandon Graham. And this was before the game. I was explaining Milton Williams would get more of the snaps because he would fill that role. And he did. He started right after that because Josh Sweat's more of a stand-up rusher in this defense. So it's been very intriguing seeing that. But these guys have new roles, different roles that they're trying to play. Brandon Graham is just amazing, and he can play so many different roles. Losing him, that's major. And the depth for Brandon Graham was Milton Williams and guys like that. But now you have Ryan Kerrigan. He can't play that defensive end role in a 3-4. He was an outside linebacker in a 3-4 for Washington, but he's too old to play it now, so he's not going to be doing that for the Eagles. He essentially, unless it's third down and you're that 4-man front and he's got his hand in the dirt, I just really don't see. I mean, watch him. Just watch him and you'll see what I mean. Like, even if he's standing up, he's got nothing on these dudes. He really is not the kind of guy. Give the snaps to Patrick Johnson over him, dude. Obviously Sweat and Barnett, but it's just whatever, dude. Tron Jackson, intriguing. We took a defensive end like him, but I think you could teach him that role and try to make him a defensive end there, but I could also see you trying to make him leaner and stronger and make him an outside linebacker. I don't know what they want to do with this hybrid defense, but Gannon is kind of making me questionable because it's like, bro, if you know that you don't have the players for this kind of defense, like, well, I just don't have it. It's like, well, then why are you running it then, dude? Like, what do you mean? And it's like, I get it. And like your merry little mind, like, if you're playing Madden or doing something where you're like, okay, well, my safety suck. I know I'm not going to stop him, but why not try to stop it anyway? And it's not unless you do something. Like, we're not doing that extra something to try to stop it. Like, I don't know. It's just like, oh, we've got Eric Wilson and Alex Singleton. That's one of your biggest problems there. I love the guys, but let's be real. That's a problem. And matter of fact, I think it's the next one up here. So, so our linebackers. So we've got Wilson, and I threw Davian Taylor up here because he's only played in week 2 and then week 4. And I think he had 9 snaps. Oh, look at that matchup number 9. Maybe that's a little good luck for him. We need Davian Taylor to come in here and be that nickel linebacker to really help us. The coverage linebacker. I love his skill set. Loved what he was doing this offseason. Then he gets hurt, had that calf injury. And you hate to see it for a guy that you used the 3rd-round pick on, too. So you really wanted to know what he was. We've been stuck with Wilson and Singleton, and I like those guys, but they're being put in places where they shouldn't be in coverage. And look, Wilson got an interception last week. That's awesome. And it's not their fault. You got to do what you got to do. But it's the Eagles' fault for not giving Gannon the right pieces. And then in the same side of the token there, dude, it's Gannon's fault because it's like, bro, why are you doing this? Like with the players you have to figure something out, man. And unfortunately, a lot of these safeties that you could use in different roles, like Kayvon Wallace is out, just got Roddy McLeod back. So I think he's still trying to figure things out. It was different last week. I was watching, you could only use McLeod so much. He was very limited, but Epps came in, did well. It was the Chiefs, man. So thought this D did what they could. This team put up a fight till the 4th quarter with the Chiefs. So for me, that was good enough to get excited about and really showed me that this team has a lot of promise. So people could be down, but I'm excited, man, especially when the days get closer. Game days tomorrow. It's always like Christmas to me, and I always laugh about it because it's like, oh, I'm so excited for this game, maybe more than ever. And you're like, or maybe I just love the Eagles that much that I just get that excited every time, and I'm okay with that. So ready as hell for tomorrow, but let's get into actually why I was talking about these linebackers and why, if you're wondering, I had Chuba Hubbard and Tommy Tremble here. I wanted to put the rookies here. That's one of the biggest matchups for me. The final two here, are pretty big. I think obviously we have to shut down the run game. Chuba Hubbard is not Christian McCaffrey, so that's great. But Tommy Tremble, it's somebody we talked about before the draft, an H-back. And obviously we have Jack Stoll now, so I was excited about that. You guys know I followed him closely throughout this offseason, was excited to make the team. But Tommy Tremble, somebody I really liked in this draft over Jack Stoll. So we talked about this kid, and I think that, with them getting rid of Dan Arnold and now Christian McCaffrey, they're going to be using him, and not just as a tight end, but in that H-back role. So think that the linebackers really have to watch that, and I would love to see Davian Taylor have a big game, keeping his eye on this, obviously, run game, but also Tommy Tremble. Watch out for the trickery of Matt Rule and Joe Brady there. So just saying, man, keep your eye on Tommy Tremble and Chuba Hubbard. You can do a lot. Don't sleep on these guys just because they're rookies. So linebackers need to step it up, man. Need to have a big game from them. Now, last but not least, our corners versus their receivers. Now, DJ Moore is not Tyreek Hill, but he is pretty effing good. So we've got to try to shut down Robbie Anderson not having the greatest start to the year, but he can go off at any time and definitely can do it that against the Eagles. Terrace Marshall, dude, really like that kid at LSU. I think that he is about to break out, and I'm just really hoping it's not against the Philadelphia Eagles. So Slay, Nelson, Maddox need to step it up. This zone, whatever position Gannon puts them in, we need to shut these guys down. Obviously, Sam Darnold is not Patrick Mahomes. So get some pressure on his ass throughout all the other matchups we talked about, and then let these corners possibly get an interception for once. Maybe we get a turnover from the secondary. And I love these guys. So I'm just hoping that they turn around a lot of the mistakes. And man, we're playing the Cowboys and Chiefs. I think we got to realize, like, those are two of the best offenses in the game. So for a new defense under Gannon, with all these guys just playing together for the first few games, maybe it's not time to freak out. And look, this year to me already, I'm not thinking it's Super Bowl bound. The only thing we talked about this year was we could compete for the NFC East. So let's just temper our expectations and enjoy this growth throughout the year. So I'm pumped about it, regardless of how tough some of these losses have been. But I think if we keep growing and competing like we did against the Chiefs, and then you lose in the end, but it's like, hey, man, we fought. So I think people are sleeping on us, but I think the Birds could pull this out. So hopefully you enjoyed those top 10 matchups. If you have anything else you want to throw at me, please feel free. If you're watching this later, you want to, hey, let me know if you agree, disagree. You want something else you want to add in there, please let me know. Always down to talk some Birds, or if you're into those cats, we can talk about them too. But I hate doing this, but I know you guys like those score predictions, so put one together for you. Throw it out there, probably completely off, but that's fine. I think they've got a good defense, so they could slow us down, but maybe a couple touchdowns, maybe a couple field goals they could hold us to. But we hold their ass. Sam Darnold on his ass. Let's go, Birds. Get that victory. I got the Birds pulling out a W, man. I really believe that they could get this win. So I hope you enjoyed that top 10 matchups. If you have anything else you want to talk about, not just birds, you want to talk about life, you need somebody to talk to, you can always reach out to me. Hope you guys are all having yourselves a great weekend. It's game day tomorrow, baby. So I'm getting pumped up. I'll actually be home, not going to the game, so I can actually make some pregame, halftime, and postgame videos. So we'll be talking throughout the day about this game. Good or bad, we'll be going through it. So hopefully you'll join me then. But thank you for tuning in tonight. We've got Mike going 24/7. He's adding one more. What's funny is I did have it 24/17, and then I changed it. Oh, nice. So I had 3 touchdowns and a field goal, and then I was like, you know what? 2 touchdowns, 3 field goals. Okay, maybe that's more realistic. So love it, Mike. I love where your head's at. If you guys need anything, please feel free to reach out to me, but I'm going to go relax, catch up on, I think maybe watch some Walking Dead after this Alabama game. But I'm just going to chill, man, and finally literally just sit back. Although I do have to do some graphics for tomorrow. There's always something to do. It's like, damn it, I'd love to just relax and do nothing. So I'm going to go try to do that, accomplish that, spend some time with the family too. And then tomorrow we'll be back, baby, talking birds, getting that win against the Panthers. I can't wait to be talking with you about it. But you guys know the injuries. We're all up to date. Lane is out. Other than that, I don't think anything crazy is going to happen. But they are probably not going to have Christian McCaffrey. We know that. Shaq Thompson's out and Cam Irving. So big losses for them. Let's get this W while they're weakened. Come on, birds. You can do this. We know there's bumpy roads. That's great. Tempering expectations, but we want to win. We want to win. So let's do that tomorrow. I love you all. Thank you for taking the time. I'll be back tomorrow. Have yourselves a safe and wonderful weekend. As I said, reach out if you need anything, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, go birds!